Thank you for joining the Firesign chat with me.
Yeah, you didn't tell me you were recording this.
Oh, well, what do you think I was going to do? I was going to
I'm
trans.
just I'm just joking.
Yeah, I was hoping to get some ribbon today, ladies and gentlemen. Uh,
Giving you
I'd
a
like
little
to,
razzmatazz.
I'd like to welcome my friend Adam Norden to the Firesign chat, the first one of 2025. Adam, you and I, we've known each other for a long time,
About 4 years.
almost 4 years. Okay, that's a
Almost
long
four-
time.
Let's see. I'm almost out of college now, so yeah,
Yeah, yeah. How's that going?
I'm on the quad.
How are you doing on your finals or last semester?
I'm not going.
Mm.
I decided to quit.
Mm.
I'm gonna play music full time because I think that's where the money's at.
Yeah, yeah, that people are making money off of music these days. I'm just, I'm rolling in it. I do this as a side hustle.
Yeah, it's just good to do something else instead of making all that money all the time.
Right, right.
So anyway,
Exactly.
I've never done this before, so maybe you have to talk me through it,
That's it.
or
I
maybe you
mean,
don't.
I don't have a lot of questions for you other than I
Oh,
know that, well, we go, I mean, besides our, brief 4 years in college, we also spent a lot of time in the University of Rock and Roll.
okay, yeah. On the for real tip.
Yeah, we're talking, but yeah, the late 90s. So, but
Yeah.
I've noticed that, you know, you definitely have a lot of bands that you've played in that somehow intersect with the scene that I was in as well. So I'm really
Hmm.
curious, to give you opportunity to share with the world all the things that you've done, all the things that you have done. Uh,
Okay.
so, but
All the things I feel bad about.
Or yeah, I mean, feel good, feel bad, all the wave emotions, and you're a fire sign, which I think that's something that we both kind of locked in Sagittarius.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a fire sign.
Yeah,
I don't
hence the
know.
fire sign chat. Yes,
I should know what that means, but just one of these guys.
you're a
That's all I
center.
really know
We're,
about it.
we're centers. We're half men, half horses.
Yeah. The wrong fucking half, let me tell you.
But
Boy,
and like I was getting ready for this thing, and I'm like, I was trying to, like I'll admit I don't know a lot about you, and I think
oh,
this is a good opportunity to get to know a lot more about you, your history, and because I think, yeah, I think the world deserves to know about Adam Norden from
oh
Chicago.
God. Okay. Um
But where does it start? Where did it all start? Where it all began?
Riverside Hospital in Kankakee.
Oh, okay. What was Kankakee? Like, what county is that?
Kankakee County.
Kankakee County. Okay.
Yeah, I'm river trash. I was born and grew up on the river.
Mm,
Uh,
River baby.
yeah, I'm a river baby, so I got that smell about me. Find used condoms all over the place.
And
Um,
porn, right? A lot of dirty porn.
old flip top beer bottles. Um, but no, I'm from Bourbonnais. I grew up in Bourbonnais, which is right outside of Kankakee on the river. Moved out of there when I was like in seventh, eighth grade. Moved to the suburbs. Um, I guess I'll just stick to my musical journey here. So really, like I'm in eighth grade, skateboarding. I meet a guy named Kevin J. Frank.
Mm.
Um, I'm not gonna give him credit for everything, but like he was in. I was thinking about this because he was in a band at the time. He was probably a year and a half older than me, and he was in a band at the time. And I'm like, cool, you're in a band, right? And it was like, I don't know if you know what this is, but it was a positive hardcore band
Oh,
back when that was a thing.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like eat your cereal, like like they kind of like I don't know,
Respect your elders.
you know what I
Like,
mean?
what would be an example of a positive core band? I mean, I know there's 7 seconds, right?
Yeah, that's the ultimate,
Yeah.
example right there. I guess all the BYO bands and stuff. I don't even know. but they were that kind of band. And so that was a three-piece band, and they played shows and this and that. And he brought me to my first punk show at Dirty Nelly's up in Palatine.
Sure,
You
yeah,
probably heard of that.
yeah.
Uh, and there's some great punk shows up there. I met a lot of the people I still know today.
Hmm.
Uh, I remember Greg Rolfe and his brother had big, huge fins. Probably 15 at the time. They had these huge fins.
Wow,
It's hilarious.
so you've known Greg that long too, huh? That's
Yeah, turns
wow.
out. Um, yeah. Anyway, so that band broke. I ended up in a band called Target with Kevin. And that was kind of like, I don't know what it was. It was kind of like a sort of like a proto emo band before emo was really a thing.
I
And
definitely heard
played,
Rites of Spring a little bit with Target. Sorry, I said it kind of little Rites of Springy at times, like
yeah,
yeah.
Rites of Spring mixed with Badfinger.
There you go.
I think. I
Without
mean,
the hanging.
on a good day.
No matter what he said, I can't take it away. No matter what I did, I can't take it back. I just can't take it back. Make it up. 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 In my head. Make it up. 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 In my head. No matter what he said, I can't take it away.
But yeah, so that was like my first real band, and we played in people's garages and gazebos around like the western suburbs, northwest suburbs, and things like that.
What?
And then that lasted till about 1990. That was like 88, 89, I think.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that? I don't know. Kevin went to this band called Gauge. There was like another like more proto emo band, I guess.
So that
Um,
the Target and Gauge like that, and the overlap was very short, or
there
how
was
was
no overlap. Target broke up, and frankly, I don't remember why. I might have caused it. I just don't remember.
yeah.
I'm not big on details,
Mm.
but but it was it was a fun little band, and we learned how to play and stuff. And then yeah, Kevin went to Gauge. I eventually started this band called Humdrum
Mm.
uh, with this dude Ray, a couple guys from Streamwood,
Mm.
Ray Donato and Mike. Fuck, I don't remember his last name now. A drummer, and we played a few shows, recorded a demo tape, and then I ended up like going to Champaign for college, and then coincidentally Ray moved down there, and we I met this guy across the hall from me in the dorms, and ended up jamming with him, and then got together with Ray, and then formed this band called Grout Villa,
Mm.
which was a band that was around for about 3 years or so in Champaign,
Okay.
Champaign, Illinois, that is. And there's quite a scene going on there at the time. This is 91,
Yeah.
91, 92, 93. And there's a lot of rock and roll. I mean, it was lousy with rock and roll down there. And I don't know if you remember those times, but that was when like it was funny because like everyone was getting like signed and stuff. All these
Hmm.
like kind of mid rock bands were getting signed.
Sure. Yeah.
But like we weren't the kind of band that anybody would sign for anything.
Yeah.
It just wasn't really that. It wasn't that kind of thing.
Well, and it's interesting because yeah, like it's on the scene that I was in too. Like that was kind of the far, beyond like, the idea of making it or, like, oh, we're doing this for fame. But then we run across other bands who are like totally making like, they're about our age and they, it's all about, winning the battle of the bands, getting
Yeah,
getting to play their song on the radio, just like that kind of, and I was like, I'm like, that doesn't sound appealing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird, but I wouldn't really talk shit about anybody at the time because, if I was in that kind of band back then, if I was in some like Hesher rock band, I probably would have tried to get signed. Why not?
Sure, sure.
Take the money. Didn't really work out for anybody ultimately,
Yeah.
except for, Hum is the one band out of that scene that really kind of stood the test of time. I think they're still kicking around somewhere, Tolono or something. But yeah, it was a great scene down there though. A lot of basements, real sweaty, real drunk. So that was cool. What were you doing around those times? You're what, 2 years younger than me, so
Yeah. So
that would have been your high school time.
so my high school time was basically, well, I became friends with the Kinsellas. And this is before Cap and Jazz when they were doing Toe Jam. That was
Oh boy. All right.
yeah. And Tim and another friend of ours, Jeff, uh, came into the store, and I mean they would come in a lot. And it was one of the times where Tim was like, "Hey, I'm in this band called Toe Jam. You want to come and check us out and
You're like,
practice?" No, I was like, "Yes," because at that point I'm like, where are the bands? Like,
right.
I just like when did you find out about punk rock and
When I find it, I don't know. It's probably, you know, probably like sixth or seventh grade. I was exposed to like Misfits, Circle Jerks. I don't know, just the regular Dead Kennedys kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Um,
So
along with, you know, along with all kinds of other rock and roll, alternative rock, and things like that.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't really, I was a skater, so like I kind of came at it through skateboarding, a lot of skate punk, like JFA and a bunch of really garbagey punk rock like that.
Right. Yeah,
But
that was being the issues of Thrasher. So, but yeah,
yeah,
so
Thrasher,
yeah,
Thrasher, and Maximum Rock and Roll. Those were my Bibles back then. Totally.
but as far as like the scene that was happening, happened to come across these guys. They invited me over to a band practice, and I was like, "Whoa, this is cool!" Like, these are kids my age. Yeah, it was kind of like DRI, SOD, kind of thrash punk, but they they managed to make it sound interesting, and then I was hanging out with those guys, and then that's when Cap and Jazz started. Kind of the same thing with like the Target Gauge, where it was like no overlap. It was just like one band breaks up and then another band starts. And at that point, I think Tim had gotten his driver's license, so we were getting rides with him a lot, and we'd go to McGregor's. Did you went to? I'm guessing well, you guys played there too as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for the folks who don't know about McGregor's, well, Dirty Nelly and McGregor's are connected with Matt Nelson, the late Matt Nelson. Who,
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
did you ever have any run-ins with him or encounters with him?
He booked shows.
Sure.
Yeah, he booked. She didn't just book there. Matt Nelson booked at Dirty Nelly's before, and then when that kind of they stopped doing punk shows for whatever reason, that's when he went to McGregor's in Villa Park,
Mm.
and that's where the scene was for I don't know what 3 or 4 years or something, maybe longer.
I would say, yeah, like 90 was the first time I went to McGregor's show. It was MDC
Yeah,
with Natas, if you remember them.
barely.
They were like the thrash punk band, like thrash metal punk group.
Yeah,
The guitarist singer who's still around, Scott Natas. He had like long hair that was like multicolored, like dyed.
it's a good coincidental last name, right?
Yeah, you get it. Natas is Satan backwards, but
Oh,
yeah. But it was spelled Natus, like Notus, not.
oh yeah, no, I do remember that. Yeah, I
Sure.
remember seeing that, handwritten on flyers.
Sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. And who else? Oh yeah, 15 opened the show.
Okay, cool.
And they were dirty, smelly hippies
Yeah.
at that point. And Filth.
Okay, a lot of Bay Area.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely a fun show. So, but yeah, I think that was like 90, and then the last show which I was at was Screeching Weasel, and that had to be what, 94, 95.
Yeah.
So, and
Okay.
And I heard a lot about Champagne even around then because it was like, yeah, it was like, I think Captain Jazz would go down there, Gage would go down there. It was kind of like this. By the time I started playing shows there, it was like, it's definitely not like it is, like it must have been, uh,
Yeah, I don't really know. I left it in 94. So I don't really know what happened there after that, to be
you,
honest.
so you probably left at the best time, like right when it was still kind of good, and you're like, all right, time to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you were doing, so yeah, so you were hanging out in Champagne, and then did you come up to Chicago after that, or?
Yeah, well, Grout Villa kind of ran its course, and we went on a last final tour. Like we had a singer for probably a couple of years down there, and then the all of us except for the singer moved to Louisville, Kentucky for a summer,
Hmm.
wrote a bunch of songs, and then toured a one-way tour to the West Coast. Book Your Own Fucking Life. Um, as an instrumental band.
Hmm.
So we were really like nobody's cup of tea. You know what I mean? Oh, but but
This is before all the instrumental bands became in vogue, right? Yeah.
oh, there was a lot. No, there was a lot of them at the time. I think Breadwinner and Table and all that kind of thing was around at the time. So we were, I don't know if we were of that ilk or whatever, but we were just a instrumental, angular, noisy band that I guess people were like, okay, I wonder who's up next.
Hmm.
That kind of band. We went on tour. Like I went on tour. I had like $50 in my pocket, and it was my van. You
Hmm.
know, like we had to steal shit and like in Montana for gas money,
What were you stealing? Like,
tools,
oh, okay.
yeah, stuff we could pawn easily.
Wow.
Tools, maybe, no musical gear.
That's outlaw
Um,
shit. I
it
mean,
wasn't that much. I mean, it was like $35 to get you a couple of tanks of gas back then. But it was a fun tour. Learned a lot. Slept in a lot of really questionable places. Went all the way up to, all the way out to Seattle and then down the coast. And actually played with MDC. Stayed at Chris from Sticky's house. Like he lived right in the Castro, so it
mm,
was like mega San Francisco times.
sure.
Slept in the van in the Tenderloin.
Ooh,
It was
which
like
folks, okay. This, I,
in
you know,
94.
I heard about the Tenderloin because I think Joe Biafra, or when Joe Biafra was running for mayor,
Yeah.
his opponent, the late Diane Feinstein, I guess went to the Tenderloins with a broom to clean it up.
Jello says since he saw Mayor Dianne Feinstein trying to clean up the Tenderloin with a broom, he's decided to clean up her neighborhood with a vacuum cleaner. He's also starting to show up at candidates' nights. And as you might imagine, he was quite a hit at the recent meeting of the Nob Hill Neighbors Association.
Uh, I've mistakenly walked through the Tenderloins, and I remember hearing about this
I think
place.
it's the same now.
Yeah, oh, it's. I mean, I don't know. San Francisco's always had this very like this high energy. I don't know. It's like electric energy, mental health.
A
Just
lot of drugs, man.
definitely a
A
lot of
lot
trouble.
of, and it's not like it's some fun drugs, but mostly just I'm addicted to these kind of drugs. Like a lot of
Mm,
heroin people. My
yeah.
friend Eddie lives out there because he was a junkie, and finally he was also a little mentally ill and got as SSRI or no, what is it, SSI?
Yes, it's yeah.
And yeah, it stays in some flap house out there. But anyway,
That's like a San Francisco kind of
that's what you do. It's been that way since at least the 60s, probably much longer than that.
yeah. But
But
then
what do I know? It was an adventure, you know what I mean? And
and
then came back. We actually had to drive to Idaho on the way back to work for our roadie's mom who lived in Nampa. She had like a ranch or something. We had to do a bunch of work for her in a ranch to get gas money to get back home.
geez.
So
So
that was fun.
so it's all about getting that gas money to get to the next gig and maybe something to eat.
That's we were, I mean, we were, I mean, not all of us, but I was definitely eating out of dumpsters at that time. It's kind of that was kind of, it wasn't real hopeful time, I guess, economically. And I was definitely caught up in that kind of street survival mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Grout Villa, we went on that one big tour. We had gone all over the Midwest as far as like maybe Pittsburgh or something on various Midwestern tours. I don't think we really went out of the region too much other than that. And then we went on that big tour and that was it. That band broke up. And then I had a couple of years off till about 97 and then started this band called American Heritage. And then that band ended up doing, we kind of toured a lot more, especially when our drummer lived in Chicago. We would go out, we would do Midwestern stuff. We'd, mostly East, a little bit West. And then eventually did Canada. And then eventually in 99 went over to the UK and UK, France, and Belgium. And then went over there a couple more times and did bigger tours over in Europe. So that's the one that really toured a lot.
Okay. And actually that's where our lives intersect with each other, was through American Heritage. And that's was American Heritage had you on bass, Eugene Kabamban. Or I'm sorry, no,
the Chech? No,
he wasn't there. No, oh geez, Andre. His older brother Andre Kabamban. So Andre Kabamban and Mike Duffy on drums. He also played with you in Grout Villa.
Yes, that band actually started. That band was actually started almost as like Tetsuo, only I was Eric. So it was me and Scott and Andre. Scott played drums. And that, for whatever reason, that didn't last long. I think Scott and Andre kind of were a little rough together. I don't know if they could. Anyway, I don't remember why, but like that didn't really last. And then we kind of, Mike ended up moving to Chicago, and then we put it together with me and Mike and Andre. And then we did that, and we recorded our first record in 98, 99. And then you put that record out. There's a funny story with that record.
Oh yeah, please tell. Yeah.
So our first record is called Why Everyone Gets Cancer. And it's on this album, or it's on this record label called Rosewood Union,
Right.
and they're based out of London, the one in England. And so this guy is, I don't remember how we hooked up with this guy. It wasn't me. I didn't know him, but this guy is like, oh, I'm going to put a record. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. And he's putting out all this other shit too, you know, putting out a lot of records. He's starting this record label. We're like, great, whatever. Fine. So we're like, cool. Well, we're in this London based record label. How about like we come over there and play some shows when we put this record out? He's like, yeah. And he made all these big promises, you know, like I'll book you a tour. We'll do, you know, a bunch of dates around the UK, and then we'll go to Europe, and, you know, we'll do a few weeks and this and that. So it kind of like, as we plan it, kind of dwindled down a little bit, and ended up only being about, I don't remember exactly, but only about 10 days long or something.
Yeah.
And just, there was a few dates, maybe 5 dates in the UK and just in England. And then, man, I can't even remember these tours. I can't tell them apart. But then a few dates in France and a couple in Belgium.
Wow.
And then, so we go there, we get this, he has this driver for us, this English guy, Savage Ben. His name is Savage Ben.
Savage Ben.
And he was kind of a nerdy guy. And he had, in England, had like about a 77 Dodge van.
Oh.
That also had on the windows etched in all the side windows had etched like scenes from The Lion King, literally etched into the windows. Yeah, so that's what we toured around in that thing. He was not a mechanic, by the way.
Okay.
Which we really found out when we had to push the van off of the ferry in Calais and go to what we thought was an auto parts store and try to figure out how to get his van running again.
Oh dear.
Yeah, turns out, I mean, it's an old Dodge van, you know, it's like, you got to know some things to keep them running.
I mean, yeah, of course. And
so it was interesting. That van broke down a few times on that tour, ended up getting us back, but it was interesting. So we get back to London. This guy works at a record store in London. We sit down with him, we meet with him. You know, how'd the tour go? Yeah, cool. All right. Yeah. The guy tells us at the very end of our tour that he's closing up shop on his record label. I'm like, what? We just fucking got here, dude. Wow. Like, this is literally like, we had a record out for like 10 days. Wow. And he closes a record label. So that's how that went.
You were the last release on Rosewood Union?
Maybe not. I don't even know. And then he started some other record label. I guess it was, I don't know. I don't know what his deal was, but yeah, so that was that. We never had.
It was like the Fire Festival of record labels and tours.
It kind of was. We never had the same record label twice. We were on a lot of different record labels, and they never would do another record with us.
Oh, geez.
You do one, and they're like, no, we're good.
Yeah. So let's run down the list. House of Stairs, Escape Artist Records, Translation Loss. We had 2 records on Translations Loss.
Did we? I don't think so. Maybe 2 versions of the same record.
I do have a really, well, I definitely want to ask you about how, you know, if you have any memories of the first time we met, but I have a clear memory of the night that somehow somebody got a cassette copy of John Peel playing American Heritage. Do you remember this at all?
No.
I will never forget it. I think you were there. I mean, it was pretty much everybody. And we might have been at Ursula's or I forget whose apartment it was that we were in, somewhere on the north side. And somebody, I think it was either Mike or you were like, hey, we got played on John Peel and we got a recording of it and we listened to it. And it was like as soon as we heard, and you know, from John Peel, this is American Heritage, and then we just
that's
lost
crazy.
it.
I totally don't even remember that. I wonder if anybody's got that recording.
Yeah,
I'll try to look it up on the internet. I have no idea.
But yeah, do you have any first memories of us meeting?
I remember us hanging out in Columbus, Indiana.
Columbus.
Remember that when we were on tour with Mary Tyler Morphine?
Oh, we played in Indiana? Oh, it was Bloomington Normal.
No, no. Well, we played in Bloomington Normal also, but we went to Columbus, Indiana. I also played in Terre Haute.
Oh, yeah, that was the outdoor thing, right?
I think so. Yeah, I remember that's in a dry county. That's the one thing I remember about that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had to go get we had to bring in beer from Illinois because it was
Yeah, we had to
Sunday.
go across state lines.
Yes. Yeah, oh yeah, because that was crazy. That was the last day of the Mary Tyler Morphine tour, which was like at least 3 weeks, which started with you guys uh
Yeah,
playing in Bloomington Normal, which I think I still have pictures of that night, and it was just like super hot. I'll have to include them in this, but and I definitely have a clear memory of that night as well.
no, I my memory is really poor sometimes.
I have a weird
Probably because I
memory.
was drinking a lot.
Yeah, no, we were all, I mean, I definitely remember that. Like, I think I kept on calling Andre Buck Wild the whole night because he kept on jumping around.
He was buck wild. Did he try to lick your butthole?
That night, no. I know we definitely got close and squeezed each other a little bit, but nothing.
Yeah.
No buttholes. No buttholes were licked. And then
Oh,
of course,
stick around, you know.
and I'm gonna bum it out a little bit, but I think another clear memory of that weekend was after we left was when we heard the news about our dearly departed friend Jim Marsh,
Oh God, yeah,
which um it's
yeah.
funny. I just recently saw a picture from Shakefork Records, which I know you've worked with them, but it was a Sky Corvair show that American Heritage played.
That's correct. I was just looking at that flyer. Yeah.
And there was like some pictures on the side. I'll just share them with you, but there's a picture with like yeah, some of our wheeling friends, but then there's Jim Marsh, who's also yeah, he was a wheeling guy too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Jen
So
Trock, she was from up there, right?
uh I think so, but I never didn't hang out with her until much later. Like
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was with Jim. She was his girlfriend.
yep,
That's how I knew her.
yeah. And oh no, I mean and you know well, I mean I definitely remember Jim coming over to our place in Wheeling. You know, I was
Mm-hmm.
living with our folks because he was mainly hanging out with my brother. So, because there was like, it was kind of a weird, you know, we had like a almost like different, like, what do you call it? Like, friend circles that intersected, but then, you know, we all kind of had, you know, within our age group. So, like, my brother was hanging out with Mike Kinsella. I was hanging out with Tim Kinsella, and then they were
Well,
hanging
the
out
Big
with,
Brothers.
yeah. So it was like the little brother, big brother group. So
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to get this. So, but yeah, yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, so I saw Jim in the picture and I hadn't thought about him in a very long time. But how did you, you know, I don't know if you want to share any stories about Jim. 'Cause
Uh,
I didn't really get to hang out with him as much until, yeah.
Jim, I'm real, like I said, I'm real bad with memory, specific memories. I remember playing or hanging around with Jim a lot though, because they'd practice. I think they practiced at our place when we lived on 23rd Street. But yeah, he was a funny guy. He was really cynical. He was a really cynical dude. He had a
Totally.
real dark sense of humor.
Oh, just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, just yeah, and that's kind of with that group of friends like Steve Holmes in American football and
Hmm.
all those guys. Yeah, they just had like the most dark sense of humor. I mean, even I can handle darkness to an extent, but they were like they took it to another level of
Darkness and evil.
It's not it's black as in evil and darkness.
I could be evil in darkness. Hold up, I want me to kick some rhymes for you? Motherfucking devil coming down on your street, gonna kick your fucking ass, gonna stab you in your fucking neck, Joe.
yeah. So,
Yeah, man.
but no, it was cool to see him again and just like oh, you know, kind of brought me back a little bit. So anyway, yeah, we can lighten the mood. But yeah, so I just
That's all right.
yeah, I figure we're gonna go, well, and there's, other people that we know that have have left us, unfortunately. I mean, most recently our friend Ursula Merton, and the anniversary of Joe Camarillo we just passed.
Yeah,
Or passed for like over four, no,
I
five
think
years.
I was 21.
Yeah, so 4 years. That's right.
Yeah, it's freezing up. I actually played with Joe in a band called Pruno. Pruno was kind of like uh, like a fun little punk band that was fronted by Sappy. You know Sappy.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, Sappy, yeah, I had met Sappy when I was probably about 20. Actually, no, it must have been about 24. Like just right when I moved to the city, I think I met Sappy, or maybe even right before. And I had my van, I had these two dogs, and I was hanging out with my friend Ed, who was the kind of like traveling, what do you call it? Like a traveling alcoholic crusty guy.
Like kind of a crust punk.
Yeah, he was a kind of he was a crusty, but he was kind of, he wasn't a stereotypical crusty, but he did all that stuff.
Okay.
And then Sappy at the time he wasn't a crusty, but he was definitely down and gritty, So we met at this punk picnic out at Montrose Beach.
Hmm.
They had a punk show up on the hill
Oh
at
wow.
Montrose Beach, and I had my van out there, and we hung out in the van and probably drank some malt liquor, and I don't know, peed on things and
As you do.
farts or something. But I met him, and then a couple years later, I don't even remember how this happened, but oh yeah, like I went to I was looking for a job. When I moved to the city, and it was 96. It was early 96. I moved to the city. We moved to 23rd Michigan. We lived in this big loft building and had a recording studio. It was me, Kevin Frank, and this guy Paul Obrecht from Wheaton.
Oh wow.
And we had a recording studio. The name of the recording studio is controversial. We never really agreed on a name. It doesn't matter. But that's kind of what got me to the city. So we lived in this loft. There was like 5 of us living there. I was looking for a job. I was working for Connie's down in Archer.
Oh, okay.
And it was okay. Because I had been working at Connie's out in Aurora, because I was living in East Aurora for a little bit when I kind of got back to the region. So I was working at Connie's, and I was looking for like something a little better. So I was like, all right, well, I'll be a messenger, right? So I had this minivan, and I was going to be a messenger. I went to Quicksilver Messenger Service, not the band, but the actual messenger service.
Right.
And I bumped into Sappy again there, who I had already met, and he was a bike messenger.
Right.
So I was a driver, drove for a while, and then ended up playing in Pruno with him. He already had Pruno going on. There was this guy Mike was a drummer, and played. It was me and him and Mike, and then we had this guy AJ played second guitar, and then eventually Camarillo started playing with Pruno, and we recorded 2 albums actually. And I don't know, they're okay if you like that kind of thing. That was actually, we had a funny experience with that band. Another one of these things. Our first record was put out by a friend of his from the neighborhood, from Roscoe Village. This guy, Matt Parker, he just put out the record, and it was like his only record that he ever put out. So like no one ever saw it or heard it or has it or anything like that. That one's called Heavy Duty, Doodie, of course.
Yeah. Came up with that one.
Yeah. Well, that's Sappy, obviously. And then the second one, Sappy was wheeling and dealing and found these guys out in LA that were like all like in the biz, and like, hey man, we think you could go places or whatever. And like they flew us out to LA to record a record. And we're like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, So we spend like, I don't know, 5 days or something out in LA somewhere in some ranch house in the garage recording this record. And of course, like we don't even have money to eat or anything. And we're in LA, which already is like in 90, whatever. No, what year was this? Probably, I don't even know, 99. I don't know, 98. It was already super expensive.
So this was an American Heritage was happening or this was.
Yeah, it was happening concurrently. I was like, I'm gonna be in two bands at the same time. I was so serious. Anyway, they flew us out there, recorded this record. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get it on this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna promote it, and we're gonna blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't really, Sappy's kind of maybe buying into this more than I am. But they, of course, they said all this stuff, and then the record never even came out at all.
Oh,
like nothing at all ever happened with it.
oh dear.
I'm like, why you guys flew us to LA to record, anyway. So that was the second Pruno record.
Okay.
So it's pretty much, this is kind of like how everything I've done has gone pretty much musically.
Or it's just like, yeah.
The guy's like, hey, you guys are really cool, I'm going to put out a record. And then he's like, by the time he puts out the record, he's already exhausted and is like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then the record goes in the toilet or never comes out, or comes out and isn't, not even attempted to be sold to anyone or anything like that.
I mean, yeah.
And then the next time it's like, you got to find some other sucker to put out your record.
And if you play your cards just right, oh, at the axle. If you got your rap down tight, oh, it's no hassle. Some little cutie caught your eye, oh, at the axle to White Castle, everything's just fine.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, no doubt. I mean, I've been fortunate that I've been able to get, some music out, but yeah, not, definitely not as catastrophic as some of the things you've had to deal with, but
well, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is how it is.
No, exactly. I mean, kids, listen, I mean,
this is what it's like.
Yeah. I mean, how do you, even with all that, I mean, what keeps you coming back to music, or what's
Oh, I think about that all the time because I'm sitting here, like, I don't know if you can see, I got,
yeah, I see this.
This is my quote unquote studio. I got like a rack full of stuff, and
got the mixing board, got the mics.
Well, I don't have any good mics or anything, but I do it mostly in the box. But yeah, I still make music now. It's just by myself because I don't know, because I don't even know why, to be honest, because I don't have time to be in a real band, because you have to go to practice, you have to try to play gigs, you have to stay up super late and play in front of nobody, you got to listen to 2 or 3 horrible bands that you don't even want to see, you're going on at fucking midnight, you're like, I usually go to bed at 9:30, like, you know what I mean? I can't really, I mean, I'd love to, and I will someday again, I'll be in a band that plays gigs, not all the time, but like, I can't, it's a lot of sacrifice for very little. Yeah. So like, for me, I'm just like, I want to record, I want to make some music, I want to write some music, I want to make some shit. And that's what I'm trying to do now. And I'm kind of trying to goad some people into collaborating with me. It's been a little difficult. No one really knows how to or really wants to do it.
What do you think that is? Do you think it's just people are uncomfortable with like creating in the same room? I find that with some people where it's like either people are like, well, are loose and open, and other people are just like they get really, tight or uptight, if you will.
I think people take it too seriously. And I've definitely done that in the past. In fact, my almost everything I've done, I've taken too seriously. But like, and that's not like, I'm not trying, like, it's kind of lame. I mean, but I've learned I'm not precious about stuff now.
Mm.
I still am an ADHD lunatic about how I write music. And it's like, I still tend to want to make it too complicated and everything. But in terms of working with other people, I think that they just want everything to be perfect. And it's like, no. You just got to throw some ideas out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing you an idea. Give me an idea. And I'm not even in the same room with people. I'm just saying, like, I'm going to sing you some tracks, play some guitar on this, or play keyboards, or play whatever, or sing on it, or write some lyrics. I don't care. Whatever you want, or do nothing. But like, let's just get a thing going. Yeah. And it's just that I think a lot of people don't have recording studios at home, for one. I mean, all you really need is an interface and a microphone. And now you don't even need a microphone, an interface and a computer now. But a lot of people don't have that. Right. And it's not like I've hit up everyone. I mean, I've just hit up a few people, and it's been difficult to get anybody to actually want to like understand, like, I'll send you a rough mix. You play whatever you want. You send me the stems so I can put it in the session, right? And then use whatever I want of yours and murder it and turn it sideways or whatever I want to do. And then I'll do what I want to do, and then I'll send you it back, and you can do something else or whatever. Or we can send it to somebody else. Like what do they call that? Immaculate corpse.
An immaculate corpse?
When it's a writing exercise where you write a thing, you pass it to the next person, they write the next line, they pass it to the next person, and you go around, and like now you've got a story, it's written by everybody.
Oh, I never heard of. I mean, that's kind of like, yeah, you're passing the notebook around.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one way to think about doing it. I'd collaborate with one other person to do some other stuff, but so far what I've been doing is I've been doing stuff myself.
Yeah,
and that's mostly what it is, and I never finish anything.
So you'd say like you prefer collaborating with other people and being kind of, even if you're not in the same room, versus being the boss, the solo guy, the McCartney, if you will.
Well, I don't mind being the boss and making all the decisions on like a certain song or a certain project. I don't have to be the boss. I mean, I was a bass player. I'm used to being a collaborator, Mm-hmm. I don't have to run shit. I can. I'm not saying I'm good at it either. I've done it. I've done that too. Like I was in this band called Heaving Mass, and that was a band probably from around 2008 to 2012 or 13. And that was a 3-piece band, and I wrote everything for that band. I wrote all the music, lyrics, guitar. I didn't write the drums or everything, but like, so I can do that. It's just really, it takes up a lot of time and energy. And when you have a regular job and all this kind of stuff, it's not easy to actually churn out like a whole album's worth of material. It can take years.
Mm-hmm.
It could take a long time.
Sure.
But still, for me to like just be able to make stuff, that's the important thing to me now. And I do like playing shows and playing in front of people and getting that energy. But to be completely honest, I haven't felt that energy from a crowd in fucking years and so long. I played for 10 years, just bum out show after bum out show for, very few people who are just kind of like, okay, I guess, we're going to go to White Castle later, like, and whereas, before, like, I'm not really complaining. I'm just saying this is how it was before, up to like maybe 2003 or something. You had crowds that were more into just the experience of being at a live rock and roll show and seeing something they never saw before and just being part of a more visceral experience. And it just seems like that is not what people are into now.
Yeah.
They're not into a dirty, sweaty, visceral experience.
I wonder what that is. I mean, obviously there's the usual like tablets and people being on their phone, and some people like us that, I mean, obviously when we were much younger, like, I probably saw you almost every night for a period, like just hanging in circles. But do you prefer being at home over a night out? I mean, obviously if it's worth your while.
Well, I like both, to be honest. Like I'm at home. I'm still at home a lot. I work at home. In fact, I work and make music in the same exact place, which kind of sucks because then it means I have to sit in this chair. Actually, I have two different chairs. I have a guitar playing chair, and then I have a work chair because the work chair is comfortable and has arms, and this one does not have arms, so I can play guitar in it. But no, I have to be here for like 10, 12, a long day. And I do it voluntarily. I'm an idiot. But so I love to get out of the house and do stuff. It's just, honestly, I mean, now I'm fucking old. It's like hard to even find stuff to do sometimes. Yeah. What are we going to do?
Well, I've been a big champion, and I've mentioned this on this channel, that clubs need to start booking early shows. Like, I'm sorry, we need to get back to like the Minutemen used to do their shows early so that people would go check out bands and then get home.
Working men are pissed. They want to go to bed.
Yeah, get home time for supper and bedtime. So
yeah,
like
the roar of the masses could be snores,
right? And we saw each other at the Cheer Accident at the old Cubby Bear, and that was on. That was like started at 10. It was like a 2-hour set.
Dude, that was rough. I mean,
I didn't even see you guys. You and Dana were like, "You gone?"
Oh, we didn't even stay for the whole thing because we're like, I really wanted to, but it was Friday night, which is the wrong one. You want Saturday if you're gonna do that shit to people. It was Friday night. It's tough because we got up at 6 a.m. You've been working all day. It's like, oh, you got to rally to like get your, like, instead of getting done with work and sitting down and being like, oh shit, and just like blowing a doob or whatever you do, or just watching TV or playing with your dog, you got to, gear up to go outside of the house. Yeah. And then the show doesn't start till fucking 9 or 10. Like, it's Friday. What's this period of time here? We're supposed to have a 4-hour dinner before we see a play? I don't understand. So, no, it was great, and I look forward to seeing them again because it was honestly an amazing experience. Or probably the best thing. They're probably the best thing locally going on now that the Blue Band group's not around anymore.
Right.
But they're a great band, and I'm glad I saw them. But it's like it's a lot. We had to sit through the whole opener for that, and that was fine, but that's not what I was there for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. it's I mean, I don't even know how, I mean, I know how we did it back in the day. It was, we were young and
You didn't
beer
need
has,
sleep.
yeah, beer has, at least for me, it has a certain like weird, it gives me kind of weird hyper energy.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Oh yeah, I quit drinking too. So now I don't get that.
how long have you not been drinking for?
Like the middle of December.
Oh, so not too long ago.
Yeah.
Was it just done with the hangovers or?
No, I didn't drink that much to get. I mean, it wasn't like I was getting hangovers. It's just like it kind of stopped being useful to me.
Hmm.
Um, and alcohol, it grabs you a little bit, and you're like, oh, I'll have one. You have more than you should,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you turn into kind of an asshole.
Yep.
So
Or
I'm
in my,
already,
or in my case, you're just like a sloppy mess that.
yeah. I mean, I'm already kind of an asshole, so I don't really need the help.
Yeah. Right. Well, I congrats. I mean, obviously, like
Well,
some
you too. How long you've been sober for a couple of years, right?
8 years actually.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
You're
California
California though,
sober.
right?
I'm sorry?
California.
California sober. Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
that's the
it's
way
just
to go.
it's the way to go.
You
Yeah.
go
I
to
mean,
meetings ever?
I'm sorry.
You go to meetings?
I went to one meeting
Oh, nice.
in Wicker Park, and it was funny. I was already kind of 3 or 4 years in,
Yeah.
and it was a friend of mine who was like, "Oh, you should come to this thing." I'm like, "Okay." Like, I had a free night, and I remember people were asking me like, "How do you do it? How do you not get a sponsor?" I'm like, I just I quit drinking. It was like a couple weeks where I kind of had to like where my you know I would kind of yearn for alcohol, or just like, oh, like it'd be nice to have a beer during band practice.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'll have a LaCroix or I'll have soda. And then, yeah. And then I think it was like my old bandmate, Adam, the other Adam, Scott,
Oh, that Adam.
that Adam, he was like, oh, like you lost a lot of weight. And it was like 2 weeks in. I'm like, okay, like perfect. Cause that stuff
Wow.
definitely adds the pounds. But, yeah, I was just, yeah. But, so I went to one meeting, told my story. It was good to meet other people, and I remember everybody gave me their phone numbers. Like, if you need anything, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here. And I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. But I never called to any of these folks, and I don't
Did it
know.
creep you out?
No, no. I mean,
No.
I've I've seen creepier things, and it was surprisingly a lot of people in the scene, in the music scene, who were at this meeting. So it was like, and
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot of people who are like would you know that struggle with alcohol, but they won't go to AA because of the God stuff, which I don't know. I
That's
mean,
kind of a weak excuse, to be honest. I mean, it's like that's to me that's not the issue with AA. I don't care. You can call a higher power whatever you want. It's really not the issue for me. It's just I'm not a joiner. I always feel like a fraud. So I'm not. I'm just. I just it never feels right to me. I mean, I kind of like going in a way,
mm,
but to me, quitting drinking, frankly, hasn't been that traumatic.
okay.
And I don't feel like going to apologizing to everybody because I don't
Mm,
even remember what I did. um, and honestly, just getting older, which we're all doing,
hmm
it's just, every so often you find out there's something else that you can't do anymore, or you can't eat anymore, you can't drink anymore, you can't do this anymore, you can't do this as much. And that's alcohol is just another one of those fucking things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wish I could just be one of those guys that just can have a drink and be cool with it, and just be like, okay, I'm cool. Like,
I mean, you probably could, but that's not the point.
It's good to be able to wake up without a splitting headache and, the shits
Hmm.
and maybe wanting to unalive myself too. That was the other thing that was getting like dark and
Yeah.
and just,
Well, it actually for me, it depresses you beyond, just at the time, it depresses you like for an extended period of time. You're like, if you drink the next day, you're going to kind of feel a little shitty and your mood isn't going to be what it would be.
right.
And it's hard enough to, sometimes like stay positive. Like I'm not like Dr. Positivity or anything, but like,
Yeah.
you gotta, I mean, how do you keep yourself going? You know what I mean? And, I just, I don't want to make it harder for myself. So I'm not getting worked up about, I pay attention to what's going on, in the country, in the world, and to some degree, and locally even, but I just, I just see people fucking losing their minds, and I'm like, good for you, but I'm not doing that. I'm not losing my mind about shit.
I mean, it's hard not to, and obviously, being where we live, being a person of color, it is, something I have to think about it every time I walk out that door. But
Sure.
doing this channel, doing music, trying to be as active as possible. I mean, there's people that do a better job with commenting on world events and what's happening in this country. For me, it's just more like I just want to like, showcase people that I've known for years. Some who, you're saying this is the first time you've ever kind of talked about your life. Like, how does that feel right now, Adam? That somebody cares enough to,
Well, it feels good, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for the opportunity. I like it. It's sometimes, especially, I was going to say after COVID, it seemed like everyone kind of went into these little hovels, and then came out like the Groundhog Day, kind of like came out, took a look, and went right back in.
Yeah.
And I guess I wish it was different, but you can't really change the way things are.
Yeah.
And that's why I make music at home. Not because it's the only thing I want to do, and I don't want to stay home all the time, but it's just something I can do to feel like I'm making something.
Yeah.
And I know it's important to you to stay creative too.
Oh yeah. No, it's
So you spend a lot of time doing this.
yeah. I mean, and kind of in the same thing. Like, I didn't really do a lot of touring. I did get to put out some records here and there, but I'm cool with that. I'm, with my place.
But you're still playing a lot.
Yeah. Although, it's funny, we're talking about shows, and I mean, there was definitely some periods where I'm like, I'd be fine with not playing shows for a long time. Like, and it was right before COVID, right before everything shut down. Like, I think Geezer Senior played a show, and we're like, you know what? I'm okay if we don't play for a long time. And then that choice was made for us, and it was great.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I was okay with taking a breather. No, I do enjoy it. It's just it is, yeah, you're right. It's a lot of work. I hate the hours and the pay. So
Well, I mean, it's not like the whole money and adulation thing. It's like, it's not like that's why we do it, but
Sure.
I can say that, like, going out and playing show and doing all the work of playing shows and even booking tours and stuff like that, when you're not playing in front of anybody, and the people you are playing in front of, like, almost no one cares, then you start to think, like, is this worth it? Like, why am I spending all this money and time and leaving my family, and find somebody to take care of my dog, to go to Lafayette, Indiana, and I don't know, like Lansing, Michigan, and open up for like a Pantera cover band.
Has that happened?
Well, I'm just for an example. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wish everybody could be successful, I mean, I never really played the kind of music that would be that successful, no matter what you did to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you could try to push this all you want. It's just not going to be, fucking even, it's not even going to be Mastodon. It much less, even, even on a much smaller scale, not even to that level. So I don't know. I just never really. So with this band, Heaving Mass was probably like one of the more accessible things I did. And I'm actually gonna release this music pretty soon. Putting out a record called it's gonna be called Expire Worthless, and it was recorded a long time ago, but it's gonna be coming out soon. Like coming out meaning it'll be available on the internet.
Oh yeah.
But that was probably the most accessible stuff I did. And we went and toured. We worked real hard. Got a manager for a minute because, like I said, I was writing all the music and everything, and it was like a lot. I couldn't book the shows too. It was like it was just too much for me to do. So I went through all the things trying to get help and just make it happen. And it's still like for all those years, it was still playing in front of nobody, for the most part.
Well, there's got to be somebody in there who's getting down. I mean, like, can you count on one hand or two hands how many bearded guys came up to you and gave you a hug?
Oh yeah, every now that's the thing, and that's kind of one of the things that makes it worthwhile. Is every now and again you get a guy that's really like fuck yeah, and you're like, cool man, I reached somebody. But like I said, piling in the car and renting a trailer and going out and driving all over the Midwest, and it was just like I got married during that time, and it was like it got really hard for me to justify going out and trying to do this.
Absolutely. No, you're right though. It is a lot of work. Even doing a local show, like just to, especially if you're working early in the day, and then you gotta meet up with the band to get the gear, and there's a lot of coordination don't get me started. But
well, I'm glad that people do it. I'm really glad that people do it, and I understand. And it is a cool thing to do, and for God's sake, people should keep doing it. It's just like my experience, it just got less important, I suppose, because like there wasn't much of a feedback mechanism. Right. It was more like, okay, we played a show, what's next? I don't know. So I'm really more about just making, like I said, the thing that motivates me is actually the creativity and making music and trying to make something that is a little unique, and at least you feel like, okay, well, that's kind of cool.
I'm looking forward to, and I mean, any time frame of sharing some of your sharing your music to the world, or do you have a name for it, or are you just
the newer stuff?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't really know, because I'm doing stuff kind of like in different genres and stuff. I'm doing sort of like a weird metal thing. I do a bunch of songs like that, and then I do a bunch of stuff that's supposed to be like jazzy Afrobeaty stuff, and it's really not, though, because I don't know how to actually do that.
Oh, wow.
But it's more like clean guitars and little beep, 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 rhythms, polyrhythms and stuff. We'll see. I don't know. It might never come out. I might never finish a song. Who knows?
Well, I'm definitely curious to hear what you're up to, and obviously, like, celebrating your work up to this point, which is very vast.
I'll send you something. How about that?
Perfect. So a couple of questions I always ask my guests that join us at the Fireside Chat. So, one of the big things of this channel is friendship, and I always ask everybody, like, what would be your recipes for keeping keeping a friendship, a long-term friendship?
Honestly, and it's hard to come by, but it's just the ability to have a two-way conversation where I'm asking stuff about you, you're asking stuff about me. And I know this is more, I guess, of an interview. So I'm not maybe not asking you as much as I should, but you know what? Like, I think that's the most important thing is you can't just because there's people that'll just talk at you. They'll just puke out words at you. And that's kind of all they do. And it's a little harder sometimes when it's like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
But when it's a two-way, when we're actually jib-jabbing, going back and forth,
yeah,
a lot more rewarding.
And like I said, I think our lives have intersected more than we realize. I mean, I'm just obviously we have a lot of connections with a lot of different people, and because people always say, "Oh, you know everybody, like everybody knows you." Yeah, I'm like, well, yeah, because I've been fucking playing music for at this point over 30 years now.
Yeah.
Like, and we all meet each other when we're coming up, and we're because that's the other part too of being in bands that we can't do anymore is being out late, the hang.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, when we're in our 20s, it's the best thing. You're like, you're networking, you're meeting people, you're hooked, maybe getting a show out of it here and there. And yeah, but
Yeah, going to Denny's after.
oh, big time. Well, if you're in the city, it's Hollywood Grill or Golden Nugget.
They're open 24 hours again.
Oh, Oh, really? Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. I keep threatening my wife that we're gonna have to go there, and she's like, "No fucking way."
Oh, she's not a fan.
Well, it's it's not great, but it would be interesting to go there at late at night. We're just never up late at night, to be honest.
That too, yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
But no, that's great though. I like this two-way that we're having over the the internet.
Yeah, we've had kind of a parallel experience. You started out wheeling and like kind of circled around, went into the city, started doing stuff and playing in a lot of different bands. And I started out, I guess, in Schaumburg, kind of where I went to high school, and kind of circled around and ended up here.
So you were in high school in Schaumburg. That was the other thing I forgot.
That was my high school, yeah. Saxon's, not Conant, not the good one. Everyone else went to Conant. I went to Schaumburg, and no one name someone else that went to Schaumburg High School. I dare you. You don't know him.
I don't know a single soul. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed.
Not class of '91 anyway.
Oh,
I got a couple of buddies from school, but not a lot. One of them lives in Germany now. It's like, yeah. All my friends were from elsewhere. Conant High School. The western suburbs were big for me, and I know like the Captain Jazz guys. Like I don't remember what their first show was. I remember playing a really early show. Could have been their first show, like at Sir Donald's down in Downers Grove.
I think I remember that show.
Yeah.
I'm definitely 100. I'm 99% positive that I saw Captain Jazz's very first show at the Kinsella House.
It was at their house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which.
Yeah, we've definitely played one of their early shows. It might have been at their house, or might have been like at in Arlington Heights at the VFW, or what is it?
Columbus.
Knights of Columbus up there.
I mean, it's hard to believe, but I never went to a show there.
Oh, well, I only went to a few. Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of shows happening, and I was not too far from Wheeling, but I never went to a show there. That might have been when I kind of at one point was like, I'm done with the scene. I'm not, fuck punk rock, and started smoking a lot of weed and listening to the Grateful Dead and Fish and like.
Oh, nice.
I went to, I mean, I definitely went to like a lot of jazz and funk and reggae. Like I just kind of went broad. I don't know. Have you ever gotten into those kind of like, as far as music goes, like where you're just like, fuck this, I'm gonna listen to this for a long time? Or that was a weird question, but.
Yeah, well, like, it's, I mean, I've got like in high school and yeah, in high school, I was like always trying to find the weirdest stuff. I was really into like, wanted to find the most extreme things, like John Zorn or something. Like, or I was really into Miles Davis and like, not like that's. I mean, I don't know, just like I was kind of all over the place trying to find like, Brand X or something. I was into like this kind of like trying to find like avant jazzy stuff, and that sort of thing. And sometimes it's great, and then sometimes it's really not rewarding because it's also like it doesn't really grab you emotionally.
Okay.
But then at other times, there was a period when I would go back and just only listen to like the DC hardcore stuff, and then there was times when there was early times when I just listened to the same kind of 90s crap that everyone else is listening to, like Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Tad or whatever. Soundgarden.
It's like a well-rounded, musical education you're giving yourself.
I like to try to find new things, and like honestly, it's weird with the internet. You'd figure it'd be easier, but it's almost kind of harder now.
Sure. Yeah, you don't have a label or even like a compilation to curate your experience. It's always like yeah, nowadays, like even like with the phone in my hand, and I'm like what band do I want to listen to? I always draw blanks.
Dude, totally.
Yeah.
My wife's like, what do you want to listen to? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I would just say the same thing all the time. I'd be like, I don't know, Devo. I don't know.
Bowie.
Something. Yeah.
Sure. No, it's always,
Crimson. Sure.
It's like, oh, I guess I'll listen to that same Pink Floyd record again, that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. What, Uma Guma?
Usually it's Obscured by Clouds, which is an underrated.
Oh, there you go. We were talking about Pink Floyd.
About that group.
By the way, can I tell you a little record store story?
Oh, please.
So you worked at Hip Cat, which is the one in Wheeling. They had punk rock, but they had rock and roll. It's a pretty cool record store, and that's where you went, right? Because there's only so many record stores. And that's a place we went because we couldn't only go to the turntable, but the turntable in Schaumburg is where we went.
So we're talking about the owners of the turntable.
Yeah, do you know the story? Do you know how it ended for them?
Well, yes, but okay. Well, I'm sorry. You should tell about the turntable. And
okay. Well, so turntable, I'm like, 15 or whatever. I go to the turntable and buying punk rock records there because they have punk rock records there.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob and Carol we get friendly with Bob and Carol. Eventually, it's like, I forget, my friend George, I think, was like, they sell weed, it's like, oh, okay. So we started buying their brickweed, $40 a quarter brickweed from them. We're like, great, we're 16, place to buy weed. Great.
You would sell it at the store?
Oh yeah. You just go in there and buy some weed from them.
Because I know the place reeked every time I'd walk in there.
Well, Carol smoked cigarettes too. She was in the front. She looked like she was 90, but she was probably only like 47.
Oh yeah.
And she'd be like, downtown Bob. And she's all like dolled up. Remember Carol? Oh my God.
No, this is all taking me back because I know nobody talks about the turntable these days.
Bob looked like one of the Freak Brothers.
Yes.
He had that like part in the middle, like long, kind of like dark hair, and was super tall. It was just like, hey, big Adam's apple on him.
Super friendly.
Yeah.
They were all really nice people.
Yeah. So anyway, we would buy weed from them on a regular, and that's pretty much all we did. We didn't get in any other drugs. They might have had other drugs. We never bought any other drugs from them. Yeah. So I don't really know about that, but I do know how it ended for them, because my friend Larry, and I guess it was about 94, sent me a news clipping from the Daily Herald. And what happened is somehow they eventually moved to Palatine. The turntable did. I don't know what happened. They got kicked out of Schaumburg or something. I don't know. They lost their lease. They were in Palatine for a while. Anyway, they had a house up in like Lake in the Hills,
right,
or something like that, like up in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got fucking raided.
Right.
I think it was a drug thing, because they find out they were selling drugs to everybody.
Right.
So they got raided at their house, they did not come out of that house.
No.
Bob did a murder-suicide, him and Carol fucking dead. That's how it ended for them. Crazy.
Yeah.
And these people, we would hang out with these people all the time.
But yeah, the turntable, when they were in Palatine, I used to go there because they would have really cool like bootleg videos like Alien Sex Fiend and The Orb.
Sure.
And I remember not getting charged any sales tax. That was the other thing. They were just like, it'd be like $19.99, or it would be like, oh, just give me $15, $20.
That might have been what they were getting busted for. I mean, who knows? It might not even been drugs, It might have been sales tax.
Man. Yeah, that takes me back. I haven't thought about the turntable.
Lake County Sheriff, like, you owe like $14,000.
Right.
They're like, fuck that.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to look that. I have seen that article, like, kind of went down, but man,
it just reminds me of that. Northwest suburbs, record stores. I always think of that, and it was just so jarring and sad because like I really spent a lot of time with these people. Yeah, and they sold me weed when I was like couldn't even buy cigarettes. Well, you could buy cigarettes back then, but you weren't supposed to, but you could.
There was always the cool guy at the counter, but
yeah.
Oh man. Well, how you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic. I'm a little sweaty, but I think I need to make a salad for me and my wife.
All right, cool. Well, this is a good place to end. Thank you so much, Adam.
Well, thank you.
All
right, man. Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. I'll let you know when this is done, and I'll make it real fun, and you'll definitely come off very coherent. So
okay, are you gonna put a lot of fart sounds in here?
Maybe if you like it, like right now.
Let me lean over. There you go, right there. There's a cue.
Okay.
Well, thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and let's have a hang with. I want to get included in these dinners that you and Sappy and Dana have. Like, I always hear about these dinners, and I'm like, damn, that'd be fun.
All right, we can do that. We can make that happen.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get
for sure. I don't know what our next one is, but we'll figure it out.
Sounds good. All right.